Some sad news from the music world. The rapper Mac Miller is dead at the age of just 26. The Pittsburgh native's real name was Malcolm McCormick. He's known for songs including Self Care, Loud, and Smile Back. He also wrote a song titled Donald Trump all the way back in 2011. TMZ reports the rapper died of an apparent overdose and was found dead at his Los Angeles area home. He previously dated the pop star Ariana Grande. The pair broke up back in May. Miller reportedly had a history of substance abuse. He was arrested for a DUI in May after crashing his car. Just yesterday, the rapper tweeted out that he was excited for his tour to start next month.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I decided to research this and do a video on it because so many people messaged me and wrote in my comment section on some of the videos that I just put out asking me to do this. So from time to time, I will do video requests and stop doing other projects that I'm working on. And that's in regards to Mac Miller. Mac Miller, who is a Jewish musician, Jewish rapper, who used to be linked to and dating Ariana Grande. Now, most of you probably saw my Ariana Grande video in regards to backmasking, which you should check out if you haven't seen it already. So the big question that most people have is, what are my thoughts on this rapper's sudden death via drug overdose? Well, if most of you saw the video that I did last month or a couple months ago, whenever this guy passed away, on XXX Temptation, whatever his name is, there are a lot of similarities between these two, just like there's a lot of similarities between most of these. It just must be a huge coincidence that all of these musicians just continually they're so miserable with their millions of dollars and their multiple homes. And of course, people like us, we don't look for those things. We don't want those things. But these people do. They must be so miserable that they just constantly are overdosing on drugs at such a young age. Coincidence, right? I don't think so. Now, there's going to be new people who come to this video who are curious, who are probably suspicious of his death, and wondering about Ariana Grande's connection, because you can already see that there's articles out there about Ariana Grande and them, people saying stop blaming Ariana Grande for this guy's death. Well, they're saying that in the sense that, oh, he was so depressed over their breakup that he overdosed on purpose, that he was he couldn't stop doing drugs, he couldn't stop drinking because he was so depressed about their breakup and the fact that she's now engaged, and I believe somebody said pregnant. Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to show you a video clip here from the movie The Believers, and then we're going to talk in detail about this stuff. Because it's easier for some people to see this through movies. Because remember, movies, they show us the truth of what they do and what they're planning and what their plans are, right? And they fictionalize it so people become desensitized to this stuff and think that it's not real because it's from the movies. Meanwhile, the stuff we see on the news is completely fake. Everything is inverted and in reverse. Look at this clip, okay? And this is about joining these selective clubs and what is asked of them to do when they join these secret societies. Take a look for yourself.
Of course you're uncertain, Cal. Naturally, so was I, till I met him. And now imagine, if you can, a life without uncertainty, freedom from doubt, the ability to choose, single-mindedness.
One life from each of us, Cal, is all he asks. And he rewards our devotion 1,000-fold.
Personal desires, oh yes, of course, anything. That's part of it.
It's only the beginning.
There was a time, Cal, when man was at one with the gods before the fall. Now we're at one again. And their benediction is power. It's a power you can't imagine. Power to create a world of our choosing. Power to destroy those who oppose us.
We want you to join us. Consecrate this ground with this Father's humble offering. We seek the strength and wisdom of our benefactors.
We call upon the ancient gods to renew our strength and guide your hand to strike down the enemies of our faith and of this great nation.
We welcome our brother Cal, reborn into your grace.
Ayawaladama.
The power which is our birthright.
Herabanya,
Our enemies consumed by winds of fire. Our strength reborn in sacrifice.
Identity, Sonina. Mansai identity, Sonina.
Now, as you saw, Martin Sheen's character was approached to join this secret group where he won't have to worry about anything anymore. He won't have to worry about money. There'll be nothing in his future that is unsettled. That is exactly what happens when these people join these secret societies. But what is asked of them is a blood sacrifice. In this case, they were asking him to do a blood sacrifice of his son. And as you saw, they put the basket below the son. That was because they would use the blood of that child for the ritual that they were about to perform. This is what really goes on. Now, I'm not saying Ariana Grande is specifically the person behind this, behind, what happens to this guy. And I'm not saying that this guy couldn't have just overdosed, because at the end of the day, it's only speculation. But there are a lot of things that people have reported on which show you the symbology, whether it's, they broke up 3 months ago and 30 days to the date, or it was 33 weeks from Mac Miller's birthday past. Those types of things are how they work. They do use gematria and numerology in a lot of these sacrifices, but sometimes the sacrifices are real and sometimes they're fake. People always speculate and say, well, these people aren't really dead. They don't really kill themselves, or they aren't really, they're out on an island hiding. Well, sometimes they're actually sacrificed because they're given as the offering from somebody else to be that sacrifice. In cases like this where you see the power and, the God is a woman and the power as far as influence that Ariana Grande continues to have and rise up with, of course that could be something that she was involved with. But you also can look at it and say, well, maybe he's not really dead, because predictive programming is used in all these videos. Now, just like XXXTentacion, a video came out right after his death of him pretty much predicting his own death. There was this big thing. Oh, him in a casket at his own funeral, viewing his own funeral. Well, you could say the same thing about this guy. He did a video 4 years ago, of himself in a casket. Why are these people who end up being sacrificed or killed doing this in their music videos of themselves dead, right? Because this is how magic works. This is how sigil magic works. They show you this stuff before it happens, whether it's real or it's fake. It enhances the power of their craft. That's why everything that happens, we already see, whether it's in a fictional form in a movie or in a song, we hear it, or through backmasking, because that's how the power of these spells get enhanced. So in this case, we have this guy who clearly you can see from the magazine covers that he's been on, holding the hand over the eye, which is just, blatantly obvious Illuminati symbolism, right? He was raised Jewish. He has what is called the Star of David on his hand, on his finger. But we know what that really is, the Synagogue of Satan symbol. But for anybody to think that it's a coincidence that these people in these videos use this type of predictive programming, like they're shooting a music video and they go, it'd be really great, if I'm dead in a casket and then I wake up and I rise out of the casket. Now that could be obviously mind control or them using magic to say, hey, we're faking our own deaths here, because they usually wake up in the coffin just like this guy did. He's dead in the coffin, then he rises from the coffin. But don't you think that it becomes a little stale? How many times over these guys who end up being dead and then all these stories come out and they go, oh, they predicted their own death years ago. Oh, ahead of time, they said they were going to die. XXXTentacion said he was going to die pretty soon, and he died. And people just are like, oh, and he was sacrificed. This is part of how magic works, whether they die or they don't. I can't say if this guy's alive or he's dead or an Illuminati sacrifice, but I could say it's definitely part of a plan that this guy didn't just overdose. It's highly unlikely. He was either sacrificed or this is part of them doing sigil magic on us, on the masses. But people get all emotional and concerned about the person himself. Rewatch the video. Rewatch the clips from the believers. That's exactly what this is about. Through these sacrifices, they believe they enhance their power. These secret societies, they ask them to do these things. This is how you join these secret clubs. And people will go, that's not how you join Freemasonry and stuff like that. When you get to a certain level, it sure is. When you're really initiated, when you get past certain degrees. So, was Ariana Grande responsible for it? Who knows? None of us will ever know. You could speculate. Was it real? Don't know. But does this stuff happen all the time? And should people look at it and go, huh, yeah, it is kind of weird that all of these young musicians, it's like almost once a month, some famous musician who's young just happens to die, right? We had, Chester last year. We had Cornell, XXXTentacion, right? I'm sure there's many other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head because I don't really follow any of these musicians. So I wouldn't know off the top of my head who, but it happens all the time. And people just go, oh, it's part of the life, drugs, hardcore, extreme. No, it's not. This is part of black magic. This is part of ritual initiation. That's what occurs when these people are sacrificed, whether they really are or not. There are no coincidences in this world. And of course, the story that comes out, which they definitely love, is stop blaming Ariana Grande, which would make you think, well, then she is probably connected to it because that's enhancing the power of the spell, right? Ariana Grande didn't do it, but then when you read the fine print, she didn't do it because of the fact that she's, marrying somebody else and she broke his heart, right? When in reality, nobody talks about blood sacrifice and how this stuff continues to go on day in and day out. It's absolutely unbelievable and mind-blowing. Now, thank you for listening to today's show. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to do another video in the future with the clips from the believers, more clips, and actually, show people how these secret societies work because they reveal this stuff through movies. A lot of these movies are like B-level underground movies that people don't even know exist. Like, I'm sure most people don't even know the movie The Believers exists. But they show you this stuff. It's out there. It's in the open. It has to be in the open. God gave us free will. They just use psychology through fictional films to make people think that this stuff isn't real. That's how they mind control people. If you heard this stuff on the news, you would think completely opposite. If every night on the news you heard about human blood sacrifice and witches doing spells, everybody be up in arms to arrest witches and Satanists, right? But instead what you hear is this fake stuff about wars and bombs and left versus right. And then in the movies they show you this stuff, but everybody thinks it's fake when it's not. It's unbelievable how this world works. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.